Hello, Stampin' friends, and welcome. This is Dee Osburn, and I'm an independent Stampin' Up demonstrator. And today we will be making this lovely Christmas card using the Bright Baubles set. Don't forget, as you go along, if you are enjoying this video, make sure that you like, share, and subscribe. Also, if you click the bell, then you can get notified when I upload more videos. I absolutely love getting comments, so if you leave me a comment, I will be sure to comment back to you. Everything that you need to make this card will be listed in the description below, including the sizes of the cut papers. You can always go to my website to find where these supplies are. There will be links to these supplies, but you can always go to my website at www.dbeststamping.stampinup.net for a complete look at all the products that are currently available. Also, all orders of $40 or more will receive a bonus gift. Okay, let's get started. Again, today we're making this Christmas card using the Bright Baubles Christmas dies. So let me show you. They're called the Delicate Baubles dies. The Bright Baubles is the stamp set, but let's look at all these great dies. Okay, this cuts out the shape. There's three of them, and these three, actually there's two. These two cut out the shape. All right, and then there's two of each that you can cut out that go inside. This one says Merry and Bright, and this is a Christmas tree. For the round one, you have a snowflake, and you have one that says Joy. There's also in this set a hanger that you could cut out and use as well as those. All right, so let's get started. I'll show you exactly what I used and how I did it. So I started out, let's move these. I started out with a piece of polished pink design or cardstock, and it's cut at 8.5 by 5.5, and it's scored at 4.25. So we're going to fold that in half. We're going to use our bone folder to get a nice crisp fold. Okay, so we have our polished pink card base. Then I cut a piece of gold, metallic gold paper, cut at 5.25 by 4, and we're going to glue that down to our card base. This is such a quick and easy card, and it turns out beautifully. And at the end of the video, I'll show you a few other ideas that I did using some of the other dies. Okay, so we're just going to glue that down. All right. Then I took a piece of white cardstock cut at 5 by 3.75, and I ran it through the embossing machine using the Pine Boughs embossing folder. But for this one, I'm going to use a different embossing folder. I'm going to use Winter Snow. And we will run that piece of white through to give it a nice wintry, snowy background. And I'll go do that, and I'll be right back. Okay, so I've run that through the embossing folder. And before I glue that down, I'm going to do the rest of the cutting, because I want to put this gold cord behind that piece of white. So to cut the two pieces, we'll put this aside. To cut these two pieces, I just have a couple of scraps that fit for this die. So this is part of the Whimsy and Wonder Designer Series paper. That's the other side. So we're going to cut that out, and you don't need that big of a scrap, but this was the piece that I had. So I'm just going to use that, and I'll save this piece for something else. And then I used the Christmas tree one on the gold. Okay, so I will go cut those out and I will be right back. Okay, so I cut the base of the ornament out with the Whimsy and Wonder Designer Series paper. And then I cut this out, the Christmas tree one out. And what I have to do now is punch out all the pieces that, don't belong there, so that it gives it that nice, I don't want to say filigree, but kind of, look. So all the pieces that we don't need, we just easily punch those out. I use my scissors. You can use whatever. Anything that punches that out works. Okay. All right. And there's a couple of little pieces right here. Don't forget to get those. Every little hole that's there needs to go away, right? You don't want to have those filled in. All right. So now I have this one I need to do as well. Okay. So now I have my nice element here, my gold element that will go on top of my ornament shape. Okay, it's so pretty. I just love it. Now I'm going to punch a hole right there with the hole punch. And I'm using this one. It cuts 1/8 of an inch. I have it written on there. I don't know if you can see it, but I have it written on there. It says 1/8 of an inch. Anyway, so I'm going to hold these two together and punch. I'm going to use this hole that's already there as a guide as to where to punch the hole, because really I'm just trying to cut the hole in the base piece because the top piece has a hole. So I find where that spot is and I punch. Okay. Now that we've done that, we can take our gold cord. This is from the Simply Elegant Trim Pack. And you could also do this in silver. You could use the silver paper and use silver cord, because the pack comes with both gold and silver. So you could do that. I'm just going to cut a piece, probably about that big. I don't. It's kind of like when I cut the cord like that, it's kind of like cooking. Whereas I don't measure when I cook. I just kind of do it by feel. And so I feel like I need about that much. So I cut that. It's probably a little more than I need, but that's okay. Then I fold it in half. And I'm going to put the folded half through the hole. Okay. And then I'm going to knot it like a slip knot. Okay. So then the two ends, whoops. Let's try that again. So I put the folded piece through the hole. It's not cooperating with me today. Okay, there we go. And then the loose ends will fit through the loop, just like that. Okay, just like that. And then you pull it until it makes a nice, neat little knot at the top of your ornament. Like a little hanger, right? Okay, then I'm going to take my piece of white cardstock that I've embossed, and I'm going to place it about where I want it. I want it to take up the majority of that space. I'm going to flip it over, holding that ornament down, and I'm going to put glue dots on the back so that I can stick the cord to it. Okay, so I'll take my glue dots. Just hold that end down. And I'm going to pull a couple of them off and put them on the back so that I can stick my, oh, and I'm moving my paper around. So I want to make sure, I'm going to pick it up again and make sure that I have my ornament exactly where I want it. Okay, now I'm going to turn it over, hold it down. I'm going to stick those cord pieces to that glue dot, just like that. And for good measure, I'm going to put another glue dot so that it holds down. You know, we don't want it slipping. And you could use a shorter piece of gold cord, but sometimes I think when we use a smaller piece of gold cord, sometimes you know, it pops off and doesn't hold nicely. So now the other thing that I'm going to do, and I could have done this before, I guess I wouldn't have had to hold it if I did this. I'm going to put a glue dot on the very back of this ornament, and that will pop it up just a little bit and hold it in place. If you like the idea of the whole thing swinging, then don't put the glue dot, don't adhere it down. I just want the top piece to kind of swing, right? I like that. All right, now that I have that, this one I glued the white piece down. I think I'm going to pop this whole thing up. So I'm going to get my dimensionals back out, and I'm going to pop up this whole thing. I just feel like I want it popped up just a little bit more than what it is. So I'm going to do that. I like it when it's dimensional. I just think it gives it that little something extra without really having to spend a lot of money or time to give it that little something extra. Just popping it up, I don't know, it steps it up just a little bit, I think. So we're going to adhere this down to our card, and then we're going to do one more thing to it. We're going to put some ribbon right here at the top, and I have the Blushing Bride ribbon. This is retiring. Both of these, all of this product except for the gold and the pink paper are retiring. So if you like this card and you want to make one like it, you have until the end of December to get these products if you don't have them already. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring in my Bow It All, because I love how easy it makes bow making. Okay. And I'm going to make, I like the kind of bigger bow, so I'm going to use this side. All right, and remember, when you make the bow, I have a video if you want to learn how to do this, how to use the Bow It All. I do have a video that will show you how to do it, and I will link that to this video. So anyway, you start from behind, and you just kind of weave it around. You go up and over and behind. I'm going kind of fast, but if you watch the video with the tutorial on how to do this, I go slower, and you can totally learn how to do this and where to get one of these, because I absolutely love this tool. It's one of my favorite tools. So it makes it a little easier if you leave a little more of a tail here, but that's okay. I didn't want to waste a lot of my ribbon, because you don't need a big tail for this bow. All right, so I'm going to take that off of there, and we will put our bow on our card. So now I have this beautiful pink bow, and I'm going to use glue dots to adhere it down. You just play with it after you're done to get it exactly like you want it. All right, so I'm going to use a couple of glue dots here. Get my glue dots back. And I like to use 2 glue dots when I do this, just for safe measure. So I put it to the back of the bow, and then I'm going to adhere the bow down. Okay. So pretty. And then I'm going to trim the edges so that they look really nice and neat. All right. And there you have it. There's the Christmas card using the bright, or what they're called actually, the dies are called Delicate Baubles dies. Now I've made a few other ones. This one I used the wintry snow, I believe is what it's called. Yeah, winter snow embossing folder. And this one I used the pine boughs embossing folder. Here's some other cards that I did using these dies. So here's one using the round die set, and I used this white ribbon and I stamped Merry Christmas. And of course you can stamp anything you'd like. Any sentiment right there. Season's greetings, whatever you have. Okay. Here's another one where I used the round one, and this one I used the joy. This is Misty Moonlight. This is Pretty Peacock, and I used silver. And this is Misty Moonlight, and I used silver. This one I used some retired paper, but you can use any paper, and the red ribbon, right? I used white, and then that's real red, and I used the winter snow embossing folder. And then I used the Merry and Bright die, and I used cherry cobbler and gold with the winter snow embossing folder. So there's several different ideas that you can use with this set. So I hope you liked this video. If you did, remember to like, share, and subscribe. Click that bell so you can get notified when I upload more videos. And I hope that you have a very Merry Christmas, and I will see you next time.